Hey all, Cohen here. So I am going in for my hysterectomy tomorrow. I'm going to the Grand River Hospital in Kitchener, and my surgeon will be Dr. Gillian Oliver of Kitchener. I guess I'll start off with how I got my appointment referral. So I go to Dr. Massarella in St. Catharines at Quest Health Center, and she was the one who referred me to Dr. Oliver in Kitchener. Dr. Oliver, from what I understand, I'm not too sure because a lot of things have been changing with CAMH and with OHIP and things like that. So, but from my understanding, what was done for mine was that I was sent to Dr. Oliver because Dr. Oliver is one of the only surgeons that I understand of in Ontario that if your gender marker is already changed to male, she finds a way to have your histo still covered because from what I was understanding prior to all this changing was that if you have your gender marker changed to male and you're an FTM and you need a hysterectomy, that it's not covered by OHIP. So I was really worried about that, but the last little while, it seems that these changes have brought about different things. And so, to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure if the gender marker thing is still an issue because, as far as I know, and everything that I've been told, my surgery is covered and I already have my gender marker changed. I think maybe if I would have known that my gender marker um, would have been an issue that I probably would have gotten a histo before I changed my gender marker. But at that time, I was not aware of that, and I changed my name and my gender at the same time so that it would be a lot less complications, and I wouldn't have to go change ID as many times and personal information. So it was just one go to change both. So from what I'm understanding is that hysterectomies are covered under OHIP, and it all depends on where your doctor sends you to go on what type of procedure, if it's covered, that type of thing. But for myself, as far as I know, I was sent to Dr. Oliver because she's one of the best surgeons to deal with trans patients. She's one of the most popular in Southern Ontario right now. And if there is an issue with gender marker, generally, as she told me, she's never had an issue. So that's good. That right there will take away any worries that I have because I don't need to worry. From what she's told me, it's not going to be an issue and it's covered under OHIP. So that's awesome. Um, when I was referred, what I did do, because you have to go get a pap test and you have to get an abdominal and a pelvic ultrasound, so, and also blood work. So what I had done was my doctor gave me all of these orders for tests while I was waiting for my referral date so that when I actually went for my consult with Dr. Oliver, all of my stuff was done. So what I had done was I was referred, I think, um, I was referred towards the end of the summer, beginning of fall, I believe, and then I found out that my appointment was in February. So I had gone and gotten all these tests done. So when I went for my consult, literally, we just talked about the surgery, what was going to be going on. Sorry, there's something on my screen. Um, yeah, so we didn't have to deal with going and getting all those tests done and then booking my surgery. It was I went for my consult, got all my information, and was able to book at the end of that consult, which from my consult date to my surgery date is about a month and a half. So I was able to get in within a month and a half amount of time. So that was perfect. I will suggest to anybody that if they are being referred for a consult for a histo, if you are 100% set that you are going to do it and it's not just a consult to take a look and see, then I would recommend asking your doctor that's referring you to get all those tests done and out of the way. It's a lot less awkward, and usually, if your doctor is trans friendly, they will be able to tell you of places where you can go get these more invasive tests done by trans-friendly technicians and things like that. So that was also a bonus, was that I was also referred to a clinic in St. Catharines that is very trans friendly. So when I went for a pap test, when I went for the abdominal and pelvic ultrasound, it wasn't as awkward because I knew the people that were dealing with me were trans friendly persons. I'll probably make another video with the actual information written down in the description and a little bit more about locations and things like that. I'll probably do that after my histo. If anybody wants that specific information for Southern Ontario, please comment below and I will make sure that I do a video. If I don't really get any requests for it, then I probably won't go and do a video for it. But that's there, so comment if you want it and I'll do it. What else? What else? Let's see. So when I went to my consult, I found out that I was able to have laparoscopic surgery, which means that they're going to go through 3 small incisions that are about an inch long. And usually one goes in your belly button, one goes off to one side, and one goes below the belly button, closer to your pelvic bone. I had this type of surgery done before for an appendectomy, so I pretty much know how that type of surgery works. If you don't know, pretty much they're going to pump your abdomen full of air and then they're going to make those incisions, and there are 3 scopes that go in there. Usually one is a camera, one is like a laser, and one is a suction. So anything that they're going to like detach everything from these little laparoscopic tools that are going to be inserted into your abdomen. So that's going to take care of all that inside. And then I'm in a trigger warning right now. So I have to use specific wording for what I'm going to talk about next. So I'm just warning everybody that I am going to use a word of female anatomy. So if this causes you dysphoria or this is something that triggers you, then about the next 30 seconds might not be for you. But either way, so they do everything laparoscopically through your abdomen. And then in the end, because I'm getting the ovaries removed, my uterus, tubes, cervix, everything, so all that stuff is going to be taken out, but it has to be taken out through your front hole. So vaginally, everything has to come out. And that is why after surgery, they say that depending on you, how you heal, and what went on throughout the surgery, that you will end up bleeding. When you first wake up, they told me that you'll have like a good amount bleed out, and then the next day you'll probably wake up and have a little bit of bleed out, and then it's usually just spotting for a couple weeks. It all depends on the person, but a lot of guys I've heard from said after the first week it pretty much went away and it wasn't an issue, so that's awesome to hear. But yeah, so that's really the only part of the surgery that's kind of like I don't really care for that. I also found out that I'm gonna have a catheter. They're gonna put a catheter in whilst I'm asleep, and then when I am out of surgery and awake, they will remove the catheter. And I'm not too thrilled about that because I've never had a catheter. This will be my 4th or 5th surgery. Not all trans-related surgeries either, other medical things, but I've never had a catheter. So I'm a little bit worried about that, but a lot of guys told me that you're on so much pain meds that you don't even realize it, and it's not an issue. So I'm hoping that they're right on that, because I'm not too. That's the only thing that I really don't like, is that I have to have a catheter, and I'm not sure why, but that part doesn't thrill me. The rest of the surgery I could really care less about. I could do without the bleeding for a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's going to be done and over with, so it'll be awesome. What I was also told is that I have an early surgery, so I don't have to stay overnight unless I can't pee. If I can't pee or there's any complications, then they will not send me home and they will have me stay at the Grand River Hospital overnight. But I was told that once the catheter comes out and I can show them that I can pee on my own, then they will let me go home. And I don't have to stay overnight or anything. So because I am early morning surgery, this means that tomorrow morning I have to get up at around 4 o'clock and I have to shower before I go in. I had to buy sponges from the pharmacy at the hospital. I have to shower tonight using this special sterile sponge, and then tomorrow morning before I go in for surgery, I have to have a quick special sterile sponge shower. before I go in for surgery, and then I'll probably be leaving my house. My dad's coming to pick me up, and my wife is going to stay with me. My dad's going to go do some work and come back and pick me up later. But yeah, so I think he'll pick me up probably at around just before 5. And then my surgery, I have to be at the hospital at 6 o'clock. Pardon my cat butt. Yeah, hush, put your butt away. So I have to be at the hospital for 6 o'clock. My surgery is at 8. From what I understand, at 7:30ish, they'll start taking me in and explaining everything that'll go on before I go under. And then when I wake up a couple hours later, they will remove the catheter and see if I can pee. And then probably they said around 3 o'clock I'll be discharged and able to go home. So that's perfect because then I can get home at a decent time and I won't have to stay overnight in the hospital. Fingers crossed that everything goes great. I haven't heard of many complications, and she didn't say anything about having a lot of complications for this surgery, so I'm not too worried. Um, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I've left out that I said I would talk about. Because up until I actually have the surgery, I really can't comment too much about it. So this is my before surgery video to let you guys know kind of the gist of how I got from point A to point B. And yeah, so I have today to finish up everything that I'm supposed to do. I made myself a to-do list and I did not get a good chunk of it done. So I'm not stressed about the surgery. I'm completely fine. I'm not worried at all. Um, I've been through surgeries before. It's nothing really terrifying for me. It's not fun. Nobody likes to do it, but it's not an issue. More stressed out about things that I haven't done that I felt like I was supposed to do before this, just like day-to-day stuff and just things that you can think that I know I'm going to sit here while I'm recuperating and I'm going to think about how I should have had this done or I should have had that done. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And so I got done what I can get done. I got the rest of the day to try to figure out what I'm going to do with the day, do the most important things. I have to go visit my parents today for a couple hours and then come home and clean a bit. I also have to bath my dog, so I gotta make sure that I do that because I can't lift anything. So from what I was told, it's 6 weeks max recovery time where you shouldn't work out or do any of your normal day-to-day things. If you have a desk job, I was told that a week or two you can go back to work by the surgeon. I've seen a lot of guys post online that with their desk jobs, they went back to work after like 3 days. So that's really neat to know that like as long as you're doing the minimal amount that you can still do things, because I'm a little bit worried about it because it is taking a lot of things out and having a lot to heal. So we'll see how the healing goes. I've been a pretty quick healer in all my other surgeries, so I'm not overly worried. I got into working out a little bit more at home in the last couple months, so I'm a little bit upset that I won't be able to work out for a bit just because with working out, for me, it does take me a little bit to get into a groove of doing it, and if I don't do it for a while, then it just totally gets lost, and it takes a long time for me to work back up into getting into that routine again. It's not just like, okay, it's going to take me a week. It's like, it's going to take me a month to straighten myself out and get myself back to the point that I was at where I was on a specific routine where I was actually doing things on a regular basis. I don't think there's anything else. I will post video after my surgery. I'll videotape just before I go for my surgery and then after my surgery and a little bit of info once I'm not as knocked out on the pain meds. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say today. Not much else. And I'll talk to you guys on the flip side when this is all done and over with. So, everybody, wish me luck. Have an awesome Sunday, and I'll talk to you on Monday or Tuesday. Peace.